is Sunday, June 27th, and it's hotter than heck. We're breaking all kinds of records here in Portland this weekend for heat. Unheard of. Portland rarely gets over 100, and we've got 3 or 4 days in a row here that we're well up into the hundreds. Alright, so I've got the seat base is mostly mounted here. Just waiting for that paint to dry, and then I can put it back here, but so far I kind of like it. Alright, so I've got my seat out of the van. There's a couple of locating tabs right down here on the seat base that have to be cut off. Here's what they are. It's just little locating tabs. Those were right about here. I cut them off and just hit a little bit of spray paint there. Alright, so I'm not doing a very good job of documenting the van build, but so far anyways. But most of what I've been doing has been well documented on YouTube, and there's some excellent videos I'll put down below on how I remove the headliner here and the panels. There's a good video by Adventure Van. I did the sound deadening, and honestly, you know, the Mercedes has pretty good sound deadening built into it. That's what these panels are. They feel nice and solid here. A few of the panels don't have any though, because I think that, you know, on the passenger model this can be windows. So I had a little bit of climate noise deadening material stuff left over from my last project, so I just put it, you know, in a few places that I noticed it was it could use it. And of course I've got my awning windows installed. I'm not sure if I made a little video on that or just I had enough clips to kind of show you what I did, but again, there's lots of good videos on that as well. Put a little bit of climate over there and over on that side, but the upper panels and the roof, they're all pretty good with the sound deadening already. This lower panel here, all along the edge, you know, I had paneling on there on mine. When I pulled it off, again, there's plenty of sound deadening there. So it's a little messy right now, obviously. So here's the panels that were on the sides. After I insulate and do the rough wiring, I might put those back on temporarily. And then, you know, of course I've got a headliner that I'm going to keep on here, and the headliner will go up in here. So from right about here up will be fabric. So I really only need to make panels for this initial phase for just this right here, you know, from this side around these windows, and then the same thing on the other side. Alright, so this area back in here is where I'm going to put my batteries and the electrical devices, you know, the charge controllers, the solar controller for eventually. I'm going to build something over here. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. The bed's going to extend to right about here. I installed one fan yesterday. The fan's in and permanently attached, but it's not wired up. My thinking is that if I can get these fans in, then at least I can get some ventilation in here and it won't be quite as bad. But quite honestly, by 1 or 2 o'clock today, I'm probably just going to have to call it quits. It's just going to be too hot. But since I got the one fan in, now I want to get the other one in. So I've got it taped off. I got this little bag, little piece of plastic that I've taped off here so that any of the holes that I cut on the roof will just drip down in there. There's some good videos out there on how to install a roof fan from beginning to end. What is it? The Living the Van Life guy. He has a good series of videos on, well, he's got one long video on installing a roof fan, and I'll link it below. But if you want step-by-step instructions, that's basically what I'm doing. Hey everybody, Scott PDX. Today is Friday, July 1st. Let me show you the status of where I am on this van project. I'm looking inside here. I've got the covers up to keep it a little cooler in here. I've got the swivel going on here. This is one of those Scopima swivels, so that's kind of nice. I've also installed 2 roof vents, so there's max fan there, and there's a max fan right there. I've also removed the lower panels, which are just little pieces of plastic. I'm not sure they're going to go back. Right now I'm doing the rough wiring, so I've dropped a few wires down here. I've hooked up the fans just to make sure that they work, and they're going to run down over here. I'll have a panel fuse box right over here. Batteries will be right over here as well. Okay, so it's Friday, July 1st. I've took the day off today. I've got a long weekend as well, so I'm going to spend this whole 4th of July working on this van. I've got a little bit of a rush right now that I want to get the headliner put back in here. Um, and so in order to do that, I need to do all the rough wiring up here. And, everything from about this level on up, I want to have wired and insulated so then I can put the headliner back up in here. If I can get it's kind of, I don't have a good place to store it, so I wanted to get it back up in here and safe, and then I can get rid of some of the stuff that I have sitting around in here in the van, some of the van build detritus that I have around here. So I really can't drive it right now. I mean, look at all this crap that I have here. I mean, I've got tools and I've got parts over here. So if I can get back here, I've got these two bins I can get out of here. They're just kind of camping gear. This is just like a little storage thing that I keep in there just to organize stuff. But here's like the B pillars and stuff, and I can put those up after the roof is up. So my main goal here is to get the headliner back up in here. And in order to do that, I need to do all the rough wiring. I need to put some attachment points up here because eventually I'm going to have some cabinets over here. So I'm just going to sink in a bunch of those riv nuts in a line here, so later on I can attach a cabinet to it. Maybe the same thing over here, just so they're there. Even if I have riv nuts in here, the paneling is going to go up over here. I'm not going to see it, but I can come in later and drill those out if I'm real good about marking them. Also in the headliner, I'll need to put in some lights, and all my light wiring is going to go right down here. Right now I've just got a little temporary fuse box set up that I'm just using to run my fans. So I've got that just temporarily run over to a jackery, my little jackery that I have. So at least I can run the fans and test things out. I haven't been doing a whole lot of videos of what I've been doing so far here, and mainly because it's been hotter than hell. It was 115 degrees here in Portland last week, and it was all I could do to get the roof vents and these windows installed. Filming while I did it was just not possible. I mean, as it was, I could run out here and I could work for about 15 minutes, and then I had to run back in the house and cool down. I mean, it was hot. That's 115. Those were world records for this area, how hot it was last week. As in, it's never been that hot recorded in Portland ever before last week. We had 116, which was a new all-time hot record for Portland. So that's my excuse why I haven't been doing much videos. And a lot of what I'm doing right now is not the real interesting custom things that people can do. I'm just kind of getting the basics out of the way. Rough wiring and insulation, of which there's tons of videos on YouTube. So I'm going to do that kind of stuff and get back on a more regular update status once I start doing some more fun things to the van. So anyways, that's where I am now. Been enjoying working on the van, but anxious to get going and making some progress. So let's get some progress going today, and maybe we'll check in with you later. Hey everybody, Scott PDX. Today is Monday, July 5th. Working on my van again today, and I think today I'm going to work on the headliner, remove the headliner back here, and do some insulation and sound deadening on it. But let me show you where I am right now. Alright, so I still have all the paneling out, but I have all my rough wiring, or at least all the wiring from above this point is done, so I can put the headliner back in. So I don't want to go into a whole lot of depth on what my wiring is because I'm sure people are going to criticize it, but in general I've run wiring all the way back. I'm using a lot of these little ideal connectors for my lights. We'll see how those hold up. I've also got both my fans installed, all these lights hanging down. This is for the factory light, and then this is for the puck lights that I'm putting in. I'm doing a couple of red LED lights too, so I added a second drop for those. I've got a little bit of wire running over the top. This is 110 wire running over here to the other side, so I can have 110 on both sides. And then I've got some other wire that I'm running across to connecting. I'm going to put another I'm going to put another fuse box over here, so I've got some wire running all the way across over here. So all my wire is I'm did these nice little grommets to dropping through this area. Any place that it passes through, I've as close to some other metal. Maybe need to do some there. I've got some armoring on it, so all this is armored. Any place that's near any metal, I've got some armor on it. This up here, running this length isn't really touching any metal, so they're just all kind of brought together. I've got a temporary fuse box right down over here that I'm running off my jackery just to provide power to the fans. Ultimately, all the wires are going to come through right here, and the fuse box is going to be this little fuse box here is going to be someplace in this area, so that's why all the wires are coming through there. I want to have some sort of a panel somewhere over here in this area, so I've got a few things that are going to be terminating up in here for some switches and a few other things. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that just yet. I'll probably have to put the board up here and put that switch there, but that can come later. So my next priority is to I want to drop this headliner in the front. Let me show you this. So this front headliner, I want to drop it down today. I've got all day to work on this, so I want to get it done. I'm going to drop this headliner down and then sound deaden the area up there and insulate it. So once I can take this down and re-insulate it, hopefully I can get it back up here in a couple of hours, get that back in place. And then I'm going to do the insulation up here. And so for the most part, this is all ready to insulate. There's I did put in a few little sound deadening panels here. There's some spaces where there isn't one, like there's one right here, but there's not one there. It feels pretty sturdy, but I've got the material, so we'll do that. So I want to sound deaden and insulate everything above this point, because that's where the headliner comes down to. So if I can get all that done, then the next thing I need to do is, before I can install my headliner, I need to cut the fan holes out of the headliner, which I haven't done yet. Not sure how I'm going to do that, but we'll figure that one out. I've already installed the lights in my headliner, the little puck lights that I'm going to use, but I haven't installed these red lights. I didn't find a good source solution for red lights, and so I'm not sure what I have I really like. There's just a couple of light bars that are kind of ugly. But I got to figure out, if I'm going to mount those in the headliner, I need to poke a hole for the wire to come through the headliner for the red lights. I'll figure that out as I install the headliner. Hey everybody, Scott PDX. Today is Thursday, July 8th, I think. Pretty sure that's it. So just hanging out in the van, and just wanted to give you an update on where I am in the van and what I've gotten done so far. So let's go over a few things. Alright, so I've got my fans installed, and I've got a little piece of trim ring here, and then I'm just using this green piece of paper because I was a little lazy. I should have put the headliner up here when I had the hole cut, and then traced a pattern on the headliner where I need to cut this hole, but I didn't do it, so now I've got to do a template. So I just got a piece of paper up here. I've marked these holes here and where the edge is, and then I'll transfer that onto the headliner and cut it out. So that's where I am with that. I've got my rough lights installed, so I've got a red light and then some white lights, and then this is the factory light. I've got all the insulation in the roof is done, so I'm about ready to put the headliner up. I just have to cut these holes in it, and there's a few places where I maybe need to beef up the insulation a little bit. I've also gone ahead and sunk a whole bunch of plus nuts, which are like nut certs. These are plus nuts, which are a little bit longer. I'll show you. I'm sure you've seen this before by 1,000 people, but This is a plus nut that I installed, so you just basically drill a hole, push this in there, then you have a special tool that expands it, and then all of a sudden you've got a screw thread. So later on, attaching cabinets, I can attach them here. The headliner comes down to right about this line here, so these will be hidden by the headliner, but later on I can cut a hole in it, put a little spacer here, and use that to attach cabinets. I also put a plus nut right up here on the overhead, and actually drilled out this one too to do an overhead. So as you can see, these things are in a line on the ceiling. So right here I can attach a cabinet, but I might want to go a little bigger, but I ran out of plus nuts, so I got some more plus nuts on order. I'm not sure if I'll install those before I put the headliner up, or put the headliner up and move forward. We got lights on. Hey everybody, Scott PDX. Today is Saturday, July 10th. I'm out here on Munson Creek, just south of Tillamook, Oregon. Just out for a little drive in this thing. Let me show you what I got here. Got a little grab handle here. Alright. So, got the overhead stock lights are on. Let me turn those off. So I installed a roof fan, and I've got these little puck lights. I've got a little fader over here, so let me turn them up. There you go. It's a little brighter. I've also installed these red lights. For some reason, they're not turning on right now. So I've got the original headliner back in it. I've got rough wiring here, and I've got just kind of a janky fuse box here hooked up to my jackery. I've got rough wires in the wall. Everything from here on up has been insulated and the wiring is done. Got a fan in the front, fan in the back. Next is going to be to build a platform bed right across here, and then I can permanently mount those electrics underneath it, because then I'll know where they go. Over here I just got a little temporary table, just ratchet straps pulled to the wall, and some tools and materials underneath it, because I just went on a quick little day trip. That's the status of the van so far. You know, finally got out for a little drive in it, but obviously got lots of work to do, and it's been a fun project. Taking a lot of my time, but it's kind of fun to do. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you later. Out.